I try to find common ground with the people I talk to, and it's very hard because you're a rock superstar, and you think, how can I find common ground with this man without seeming completely deranged? But I do know that we both grew up in these environments where what we're doing for a living, or as our art, whatever we want to call it, seemed unimaginable when we were kids. I have read that about you, that when you were a young kid growing up in
southwest of England,
of England, quiet,
very
quiet, and you weren't a young boy that was thinking, I have my plan. I'm going to be a music superstar.
Well, it's funny. I was speaking to this 15-year-old yesterday about songwriting. He was asking, how do you know when something's good? And I was trying to explain the duality between absolute self-belief and complete wonder and humility. Mm-hmm. And I think you have to keep that forever.
Yeah.
But I do think that when I was 12 or 13 and songs started arriving, there was something in me that felt like, these are really special. But then on the other hand, there was nothing nearby to measure it against, or no one even in the region had ever gone out and done that. So it did seem impossible, but I still headed towards it, if that makes sense.
It makes total sense to me because I was fascinated by comedy as a kid. I loved doing it, but I never connected the idea that this could be something I could do.
I feel that no matter where you grow up or in what social strata, if you just have a couple of people say a couple of the right things to you, it boosts you enough to get to the next island.
Yes.
So who did you have saying, you're pretty good, you could do this?
It's funny. It's like a long, slow arc, I think. And this is true for a lot of people, but there's this long, slow arc where there are many little points along the way where I made my friends laugh. And then my parents sent me to a summer camp that I hated away in the woods in Maine. And the kids didn't like me and I didn't like them. And then there was one counselor that he thought I was the funniest thing. Right. And he kept laughing really hard. And he kept saying, are you guys listening to this kid?
What's his name?
I can't remember now. Okay. I can't remember his name, but he single-handedly got me through that summer camp experience. It was all because he thought this kid's really funny. And then that just kept happening. And I know for you, you had...
That's our common ground there.
You had a music teacher.
A couple of people. Then I had... you just reminded me that in the same year, two things happened, which was like a total microcosm of how my whole life has turned out. Mm-hmm. I played an original song in a school concert and got booed off by a drunk boy in the year above. And at the same time, this dad of a friend who had been in a pretty successful band in England, he came to see a concert and I played another song and he said, you're going to be massive. This happened almost in the same month,
But then the drunk kid came back.
No, he won't. No, but funny enough, Conan, the drunk guy showed up backstage in Australia in 2009 and now comes to all of our shows.
Wait, the kid that booed you off stage.
He might still be booing, but there's more people around him. I don't know why he's there, but he's there.
He's the one guy booing at a Coldplay show. I love that.
Either that or he's saying Bruce. which
Springsteen, I've seen him often after show, tears coming down his cheek because he thought he was booed. You're like, no. I know that you took to the piano at around 10, 11?
Yeah, and guitar, yeah.
But guitar was first, I know, yeah.
Yeah, both. I wouldn't say I'm very good at either, but I do what you do, which is explore all the time. And this is another thing I was saying to this young guy yesterday. So many of our songs, the portal through which they arrive is some failure that I've done on the guitar, or I'm playing the wrong thing, but it sounds good.
Right.
Or I'll often tune to a different tuning, so I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Or play without looking on the piano. So I'm just hearing it. So I don't know if it's correct, if you see what I mean.
Yes.
And often if you analyze our songs after the fact, they're so simple that we would never have allowed ourselves to do that had we known, it's just E to A to B to E.
But it's not, because I know, I mentioned this to you once, I've tried, when I first approach a Coldplay song that I love to play, there's always something like, Yellow's a really good example of that high E string. To play it right and have it sound kind of like I'm going to say the record just to date myself, but the recording, that high E string has to be tuned slightly differently, and there's something about it there's always something in your songs, and it's a compliment, that is somewhat different. Do you know what I mean? Even if you think, well, this is just a straight B. No, it's not. No, it's really not.
This goes across my life too, that your limitations become strengths. So really early on, I realized, well, I'm not going to be the best singer of all time, and I'm definitely not as fast on guitar as my friend Simon, or as Wilson Pickett. I'm not going to be as good a singer as that, or I'm never going to be able to dance like Tina Turner, but maybe I can make things weirdly me.
Yes.
That's what I feel so encouraged about around the whole world right now, is seeing people become themselves, even if it's a bit different.
Yes.
Because that's how I feel about our music, and I don't claim it's the best, but it's definitely the most us.